My name is Matt Schmidt, and I guide people to heal themselves. Um, One of the best ways to do that is by listening to this higher guidance and trusting our intuition. Everyone can do this. Everyone can tap into this guidance. We're always being guided, right? A lot of people come to me and say, like, "Oh, how can I develop my gifts, or how can I listen to these messages more clearly?" The biggest thing that I've noticed is just to know that they're always there. Okay, this guidance is always there. It's always been with you. You've always been with it, um, and I think that's really like, I don't know. It was kind of like the realization I had, and now it's learning to just trust that. So trusting our intuition is huge. Okay, and the more you trust that, the more you stop second guessing that. I'm sure everyone can relate to this. Have you ever had an experience where um, you you understand or know something's going to happen, but you do something anyway, and you're like, "Oh, why didn't I just listen to myself? I knew that was going to happen." Okay, I know I've been there lots, and so that's part of that second guessing that. So that guidance is there. Once we learn how to listen to that, life gets way easier. Okay, you still have a choice not to listen, but like you're constantly being guided. Okay, once you learn how to like tap into that more, life gets easier. You can stay healthy, you stay healed. I don't get sick anymore because I know how to listen to that guidance. I used to just push and push and push. Um, but now I learned to listen to those subtle nudges like, hey, slow down, or no, your body needs to rest. But I always thought I knew better than that. So uh, guys know this voice. It's the one that's saying like, shouldn't you be wearing safety glasses? And you're like, no, I'll just squint. Hold on, even though you know that you should be not doing that. And sometimes it works out. Sometimes you get away with it, but like sometimes it comes back and bites you in the butt. All right, so this higher perspective is always with us. I often refer to this as my higher self. Other people connect with their guides. Sometimes I don't even know what it is, but like I've just known that if I listen to it, stuff just seems to work out. So I've learned to listen to it to the point where I don't even know why I'm doing some of the things I'm doing, but because that level of trust is there, I just follow it. And really, it is that higher perspective. Okay. Um, that from that higher perspective, you can see a lot better the path and the best way to go. So that guidance could be telling you, I don't know. Imagine you're going through life. You're going through like, traveling through like, it's getting really thick, like through this thick brush, and like you're like, I can see where I need to go. It's just up there. And this higher guidance is saying, if you just go to the left, there's like a bridge and a path, and you're like, no, I see where I have to go. That's far out of the way. Like I'm just gonna go this way. And it's like, well, you got to cross a river, and there's a bear waiting in the bushes for you, and you're like, no, I know where I need to go. I'm gonna go this way. Okay, that's not listening to that guidance when you could have made everything a whole lot easier just by going a way that didn't really seem to make sense. Like, sure, it may have been further out of the way, but um, you would have gotten there a lot easier. So, and that was kind of like the difference between the old me and the new me. Is like I used to just plow through things and think I had to do it my way, when in actuality I could have just listened and saved myself a lot of time. All right, and that is part of it too. So part of it is learning to trust that and listen to it. And then there's the free will aspect of that. So part of it's listening to it, and then the next step is actually acting on it. So sometimes I'll get the messages and like, I don't want to do that. So like acting on it is the other part, and trusting that higher guidance does have your best interest in mind. Okay, there are other ways to get there's different ways to get information. Some people think, oh, you have to meditate for an hour and do this, and then you'll get this information. And okay, if that works for you, cool. But there's a lot of other ways to get information. Anytime we quiet the mind, we can actually listen to that. And I kind of tell people too, that little voice is always there. But sometimes, in order to hear it, like if we're filled with emotion or like our mind's all over the place, we can't actually listen to that. So there are other ways to turn down that static, turn down that interference so we can listen. And it's one of the ways is by accessing these different states of consciousness, which it sounds like a stretch, but you really, without even trying, you do this about 300 times a day. Okay, so this is very attainable. No person stays in a fully alert state, despite what you may think. And it may be just for a short period of time, but it's enough where these messages can get through, and they're always there. But I I like that analogy. Like we turn down the static and then we can listen. Oh, okay, that's what I'm supposed to be doing, and it becomes clear. For me, this happens when I'm cutting the lawn, when I'm standing in the shower, when I'm driving. If you'll notice, sometimes my hair's dripping wet when I make a video. It's because like I just got all this information and everything had this clarity, and I knew exactly what I needed to do. So however you get stuff is perfectly fine. Stop comparing yourself to others. Um, and there is other ways to get information. Some people are very visual. Some people get the information as a knowing, a seeing, a feeling. Have you ever been around someone and you just get like this not so good feeling when you're around them? That's that higher guidance. Okay, it doesn't have to be the way someone else gets it. You just be like, oh, that gut feeling, or for me, it's just like usually just a knowing. It just pops in as a knowing, but there's all other ways to get information. It may be a sensing, a feeling, a knowing. Some people like see the words of something in their mind. All different ways to get stuff. Some people get a symbol, and that means something to them. You figure out what works best for you. And the biggest thing I can tell you with this is stop comparing yourself to others. You're gonna get it in a way that's perfect for you at that time. All right, so like even years from now, you might get stuff in a different way, but just trust the way that you're getting it. Okay, even if you just have like a hunch, like, oh, I don't know about this, this doesn't feel right. Follow that, and really, the more that we do this, the more we can really step into this. Okay, some people are like, oh, I can't do this. Like, think of this like a muscle. If I was like at a gym or something and I saw a 200-pound weight and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go try that, and I'm like, oh, I can't do it. I guess I can't lift weights. Like, it's kind of the same analogy. Like, everyone can do this. Everyone's getting this information. It's just how it comes to you, and like in working with that, the more you like get used to it, like, oh, if you go try the 10-pound weights, you'll eventually be able to tap into this more easily. Be able to lift that 200-pound weight. So that's really important to realize that everyone can do this. The more you use it, the more you start trusting it, the more information that you'll get, and the more that you'll see how this works. Okay, and don't take my word for it. Play around with it. Follow that advice and see where it leads you. Don't follow that advice, and well, let me know how that goes. All right. It's important too. Just like anything, if you were to do something nice for someone, and they're like, "Oh, thank you, I really appreciate that," you're more likely to do it again, and to keep helping that person. So the same thing with these messages. When we get a message and you receive that information, say thank you for that, thank you for the information, thank you for the guidance, and you'll get more of it. You kind of step into that like kind of that attitude of gratitude where you keep that momentum going and you're going to get more of it. So being thankful is very important. So yeah, I want to thank you for watching this video, and please share in the comments how you get stuff, or some of your experiences you've had with this, either working well or working not so well. Or like, it's really cool to see when sometimes I follow things and it didn't make any sense, and then just all these things lined up that would have never happened if I didn't follow that. So yeah, share your experiences, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks, guys.